give thanks, I drowned in blessings, so I'll never thirst when I walk in the desert. My tongue is my sword is my weapon. War is expected, the Lord is my shepherd. The score's unsettled, but I'm sure it gets better when the last trumpet sounds and the dead all get up. The wicked and the wretched take control without effort. The innocent beheaded at the hands of the devils in the land where zombies and the slaves all peddle. I'm sick, my stomach start feeling unsettled. Sweet land of liberty, rotted with the fig tree, planned instability. You see it if you dig deep. Foundations crumble, they knew that from jump. They built up the country screaming death to your son. Uncle Sam wants you, that's right, he wants you to die fighting for something without a damn clue.
Cause I don't know why.
I don't know why.
You don't know why.
You don't know why.
They don't know why.
They don't know why.
No one has a clue. Cause I don't know why.
I don't know why.
You don't know why.
Do you know?
They don't know why.
I don't think so.
No one has a clue.
Walking through zombie nation, natural disaster, misplaced medication aching, actual attraction, international drug traffickers ain't an inaccurate savages pillage Africa. They don't sit in a Maxima who's the slave, the master, actor and director in the animus. Actions could remind you of Barabbas, mess your head up with chatter. Serious audio accident, head on a platter, Tiberius Claudius Maximus. A message on a napkin on the table of the absent. My mind's never present, it's presenting all the facts, son. Ask the man upstairs, can we ever just relax once? I heard nothing in response, then I passed blunts. That ain't so bad, I know some brothers who just blast guns. They can make a bath turn bloody, who gon' act up? Like ain't a damn thing funny, so don't laugh once. Can't trust anybody, all I know, and that sucks.
Cause I don't know why.
I don't know why.
You don't know why.
You don't know why.
They don't know why.
They don't know why.
No one has a clue. Cause I don't know why.
I don't know why.
You don't know why.
Do you know?
They don't know why.
I don't think so.
No one has a clue.
Yo, yo, yo. Yo. Behold, the crumbling and falling foes, laid waste at your feet, made feed for goats. If the team gotta eat, couple heads gotta roll. Had to walk the same course the pale horse rode. Got lost on his own, might not return home. Will be the prodigal son who returned fully grown. See, it's great to teach, but to each his own. You ain't unique in the streets, there's a million clones. Be the ground that was fertile when the sower had sown. You might grow to be known all over the globe. If you don't, that's peace, learn to be on your own. Cause talk's cheap, plus I prefer being alone. We in the zone, get it on. Kings overthrown, my force unmatched. Snatched the crown off his dome. Attached was his head, it snapped off the bone. How about that? Surprised at the strength, unbeknown to the viewers who disputed his chances at all. Took a glance in the mirror, saw the answer to all. Once the vision was shown, I answered the call. Got a chance, go and take it, no more passing it off. Don't slack, never settle, no pity, it's hard. In the country of devils, there's a city of God. Like a needle in the haystack, hidden in the dark. When it's time for payback, they'll know who we are. Sound the horn, ready or not, ring the alarm. Cause the storm's on the way, though it's steady and calm. When the smoke all cleared, it resembled Vietnam. At the stroke of midnight, machete in palm. Desert in the other arm, that's a veteran's bond. A ranger meeting with God, they got him involved. Bad decisions of the pawn got him taken off the board. Either fall in a court or pay a visit to the Lord. When they thought I was gone, I returned from beyond, out the grave remade. Once again, I evolved. Second time I respawned, at first didn't respond. My sleep was prolonged, this close to being robbed. Survived with resolve, endured through the odds, remain vigilant. Even though marred, carry on, such resilience, terrific. Held in high regard, seeing clear through the thickest facades of a fraud. Back where I belong, reclaiming my rank. Back then, nobody helped, had nobody to thank. Over time, things changed, now my team is immense. Disrespect them on the scene, they might leave it a mess. Talking funny with their buddies while they sit at a desk. Joking jest, ask until they see us in jet. This is our battle coach. Do it to the death. We do it for the culture, they do it for a check. A few of them are vultures, a few of them are pests. Leeches, vile creatures, what a stench. Horrid features, they escaped from the depths like death manifested in life through the flesh. If that's what you face, tell me, what do you expect? Ponder your fate, tell me, what do you accept? What do you believe? What do you reject? If you had one choice, tell me, what would you select? I chose to perfect this talent, I'm obsessed. They chose 9 to 5, so they stress, dreams shatter, cold sweats, they don't get enough rest. I still try to criticize my rep, nonetheless. This the death of a star, rise of a titan, mind of a champion, heart of a lion, strength of a giant. Will of iron spine, pillar of fire, defined, inspired. Intricate designers admired. Sacrifice, essential. Commitment required. Had to dig down deep to reach a little higher. The way to become free, pain and desire. Rebirth, rediscovery. Sitting in silence, cast aside your ego till it is quiet. Then and only then you elevate to your highest. They come to us hungry, it subsides, we provide it. For those who among me, blessings and guidance, peace.
Hey guys, this is Dave Noodles. We're on CTV. I got here the one and only Paul Marz. What's good, man?
What's up, bro?
Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, man.
Word.
Those two songs were definitely crazy.
Thanks.
I was feeling that first one. You know me, that's my favorite song.
Yeah. Shout out to Elijah Miguel on that one.
Yeah.
Word.
That So that's off your new project, Death of a Star, Rise of a Titan.
That's right.
Coming
Produced
out
by
soon.
Jay Glaze.
Produced by Jay Glaze. Awesome. Yeah. And so the song I Don't Know Why, maybe you could kind of give me like an in-depth look of maybe where it came from or what was the inspiration behind that?
Yeah. That song kind of came together quick with working with Glaze. Once I had that melody, I just tried to kind of find something that matched it. And then, like, I Don't Know Why, it kept playing in my head, and it felt like it matched to the sounds that I heard.
Yeah.
So that's really, like, how that track even started. Then I kind of just took it deeper. Once we realized we could make that the hook, I just kind of revolved that song around, like, questioning all the things happening in the current state of affairs in the world, and, like, just really the premise behind the song is understanding, like, that concept of I don't know why, and just accepting it. Like, sometimes you just don't have the answer to something, so you just, I don't know why, you know? And that's kind of where it went, and I feel like maybe even you too, like, a lot of people have been clicking with it because they could relate. At every point in everyone's life, at some point you've said, I don't know why.
Exactly.
You could probably say that about a lot of things now still, so. Yeah, we just ran with that concept, really.
Nice, man. Yeah, like, I think it's true because the beat is just, it's knocking, but it's also like, I could feel you kind of like questioning, like, what's going on, or just being like, this is what's going on, but I don't know why it's going on.
We try to keep, like, the balance, because the appeal, it's kind of got a commercial sound to it in the sense that it's softer than some of my other tracks, like the vocals and the harmonies and just the tones that we use.
Yeah.
So I felt like I could use that to my advantage to keep the topic a little more serious and kind of get away with it.
Got it.
You know?
So, of course, for anyone that doesn't know, Paul, from Staten Island, New York, Shaolin.
Yep.
We are here on a Wu-Tang Wednesday.
Wu-Tang Wednesday.
And, of course, just coming up, you know, in that whole, you know, lyrical culture, you know, where did it, you know, what was that kind of that first lyricist that really inspired you?
M is a big inspiration early. I was pretty young when I listened to Eminem. It was like the beginning of high school, so
I remember that. I
think anyone around my age can kind of relate to those moments and how it was, and it was a different time for hip-hop. So I think when at my earliest years of wanting to rhyme, it was M. And then as I got older, slowly, like, it would bounce around. Pun at a certain time.
He was awesome.
I was always a fan of the Locks, even though it's not as intricate lyrically. It's just like the way they delivered their bars and how they set things up and what they would say. Always inspired me. DMX, of course, also in the earlier years. But I feel like as I got older, I appreciated some other guys too that I overlooked when I was younger, maybe like GZA. I would go back and listen to more GZA. Killer Priest is another one. MF Doom, nowadays I listen to a lot of Doom.
Yeah,
Doom's one of my favorites just because he kind of just does whatever he wants.
Yeah, he does.
and it works.
Lyrically, like,
and it works.
dropping a bomb, like.
Doom, R.A. the Rugged Man,
He's
another
great.
favorite lyricist of mine.
I like him.
Yeah. Black Thought, another favorite lyricist of
Truth,
mine.
that guy.
When it comes to really straight lyrics, these guys to me are like top pens.
Yeah, and I could tell, you know, I've known you for a really long time, and anyone that'll, you know, take a deep dive into what you do, it's definitely not commercial stuff, definitely, but it's definitely I would say an ear-opening experience. You know, you talk about a lot of things. I feel like I could tell you went to school. Didn't you go to school for something?
I think I went to school. Yeah. I
You
went
got-
to school
You got a degree in, what was that?
in math.
Yeah, so just the way you flip things
Rhyming is
around.
math too, though. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a cheat sheet.
So
If you
yeah,
really- if you really want to get into it with the
Yeah.
lyrics, it's still numbers.
yeah,
Counting the spaces, the time, the tempo, syllables, the patterns, all that. It's still math to me, you know? So,
it's definitely educational too. There's a lot of things about history I've picked up from it. I know there's I don't know that song. You're like history, geography, lyrical,
Fake Democracy.
fake democracy. Yeah.
Also on the project, yeah.
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 You kind of mentioned almost all the classes I wasn't able to get into in college. I took more of like the art, communication stuff, molecular biology. Yeah, I couldn't. I couldn't even get to the rec for that one.
Yeah.
So this project, it's probably your what project is this? No.
This is the third full solo studio album.
Nice.
With this is the second one with Glaze,
Got it.
but got like overall I think I have about close to 10 between I did 3 days in the Tomb in Australia with DJ Relic.
You were
But yeah,
literally
this
in Australia for 3 days, and you made the album in 3 days.
Well, I was in Australia for 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
but I made the album in 3 days.
Got it.
Yeah. So there was that. But yeah, but this is really my third official project that you would find on like iTunes or Spotify or anything like that. If you dig deep in the trenches, you'll find more projects.
Yeah.
But I was like, some of those earlier ones, I don't take as much pride in them as I do my full studio albums, where I spent the whole time focusing on one. Like, this is probably my most complete project because I already knew what it was going to take from beginning to end. Like, the first album, I had no clue what was going to happen, and it was just like a test run. But this time I knew exactly what I needed to do, how I wanted to do it. I knew the concept behind the album. I knew how to make it complete. Yep. And then it was just a process of like going through the motions with Glaze, like make this song. Okay, how does this song sound? Where could it go? Okay, and then after you make a few songs, I look back, I say, all right, what is it missing? What do I need?
Got it.
So this project was fun to make in that sense that I already had experience.
Yeah.
I didn't, like, there was a lot of roadblocks I bumped into in my other projects that I was ready for this time. I had in advance. Yeah, and even after you make the albums, even more work. You see it going on, getting the artwork together, finishing up the videos. I started shooting some of the videos a few months ago while the project was still wrapping up to overlap, you know?
Yeah,
so like,
it's a major investment for artists.
Especially if you're an independent artist and you're doing it alone, you know what I mean? And you don't have a manager, you don't have somebody to say, oh, you got to do this, or you got to schedule with the director, and then you got a feature on the track. So now you have to figure out if your feature and your director are free in the same day, and all this little that you just As an artist, you know, you got to take more of a managerial role if you want to do it solo, you know. Or I'm sure you can hire people, but it's not the same.
Yes. For all the artists out there that are, you know, maybe they want to start their first project, or maybe they're on their second, or they're trying to pursue it. I know the music game, especially streaming, it could be really good if you kind of hit some nice grooves, but It could also, people have made a little less now because of it.
Yeah.
What would you kind of say to kind of build a sustainable business as an artist? what kind of gem could you give us?
Yeah, as an independent artist, if you're going that route and you're dependent on stuff like streams and things like that, I found the most effective thing to do is get out there as much as possible. Do as many shows as you can in as many places as possible and meet as many people as you can. So I've been doing South by for the past 3 years. Every time that I go to South by and I perform there and I meet people and I network, I come back to more sales. Some people will buy my first project.
Got it.
You get new fans and they come and they want your whole discography. So if you build up your library, keep it there, and keep working and just keep it steady, you know, you'll see results. You will. I think I kind of lucked out because I had like the head start before there was really like distribution
and
MySpace and stuff.
Yeah,
we were already like, oh, let's just sell it ourselves. Let's find a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think having the higher concept around when we were still starting and watching them, see how they did it, I was able to just piece those little things together and jumpstart. Because they were really on that wave first, so I still didn't even really know what I was doing at the time. And then later on, looking back, I realized that that's how I figured out my blueprint in a sense. I modeled it kind of after theirs, where it didn't matter if you were getting features in giant publications and front page or whatever it was just about building this thing from the ground up. You know what I mean? And continuously building it. So it's been working. It's been 10 years. I'm able to do whatever I really want to do because I stuck with that same plan, you know? So it's about, if you're an artist and you're coming up and you're really dedicated, you shouldn't have a problem because you're going to do whatever it takes. If you're just looking for a way to do something, then you're probably in the wrong place.
It's not a
you might as well just try to go commercial and blow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get a one-hit wonder if this is not what you care about. You know?
Exactly.
So
what I realized with you were literally the first person I know that you were in school, and there was a point where you didn't even have a job, pretty much. Like I know you were maybe cutting hair very briefly, but you were really putting like 100% into your passion, which I saw early on in the game. It was before I turned my passion into what I did full time. And it was inspiring to see. It was inspiring to see someone who was just like, you know what? I'm gonna wake up and just write. And then I'm gonna record, I'm gonna go to bed writing, and then wake, you know, it literally, and you were constantly putting out new stuff, and that was inspiring. I think you made it part of your lifestyle. It wasn't like a thing you said you did.
Exactly.
You were literally
that's what I was doing. That's my point exactly. Like if this is what you do, then you'll figure it out. If it's just something you want to do for show or whatever the case is, then it's not going to last that long, you know. But on that note, it's funny. Remember Zach, my friend Zach?
I do, yeah.
One time when we were like 15, he told me that his brother, he had 3 older brothers that were 10 years or more older than him.
Okay.
One of his older brothers told him, whatever you do, don't look back on your life and realize and say to yourself, I wasted everything. I wasted my time. I don't know why that stuck with me when he like told me that when we were young. But it was just something I always remembered. So then as I went through my 20s, I'm like, no, I'm 22 right now. I'm only going to be 22 for now, 23. So I took each day like super seriously and made sure that I was really preparing myself for and doing what I wanted to do the whole time. And not being able to, I didn't want to have any days where I looked back and I was like, oh, I just wasted 5 years of my life doing this job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was one of the things that lit a fire under me when I was younger. It's weird. It has nothing to do with anything, and it was random. But that was one of the reasons that I was just like, okay, so if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it all the way. It's like, so I was working in the barbershop for a while, and like, it was cool. You have a job that you like, it's still gonna suck. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It
doesn't matter.
You don't. There's lots of stuff I do on a day-to-day, even though having a business of my own or two, and not everything excites. Oh, I got to do
Exactly.
this thing for.
You're doing what you love, but it's not always that
yeah,
much fun.
It's
So
not a beautiful.
it's like
Every door is not beautiful.
I definitely don't want to get stuck doing a job that I don't like every day. You know what I mean? So that's out of the question for me. So I'd rather do what I like and do it to the point that I'm pushing myself where it's not always fun, that it's a job.
Yeah.
So that's really what it came down to, you know?
I think that's just the balance of life. It's like not every second is beautiful, but like the journey, the struggle, you know, the hustle, the fight to get that goal is beautiful.
Sure. Yeah, man.
But I think that's really important. I think you put yourself all in and you gave yourself no other choice, really. It was
it's what I wanted to do. I realized that's what I'm going to do. Like, I know once you come to a point and you know your role and you know what you want to do, or like why you want to do those things and who you are and all that, once you figure it all out, things become a lot easier. It's really hard if, say we were driving from New York to Cali and I just told you go west. That's all right, you know which direction to go, but you don't have a path. Like, that's way different than if you Google an address in LA and you start driving there and you're on that path. Now you know where to turn, you know how, you know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. And when you're younger, it's just like, you know you want to go to California, but you don't know how you're going to get there. You're going west, you know that. You know that, that's all you know. But how do you actually get there? You don't know until you get on the road, you know?
I agree.
If you didn't have a map, it'd be trial and error. But luckily, there's maps already created. There's GPS already created. People have come before, laid down easy paths for you to walk. And that's all you got to do is just pick one, you know, and stick to it. Or else you get lost.
Yeah. I guess, but when it comes to going after your goal, there are somewhat roadmaps, but you know, certain kids, they're raised in certain places.
Sure.
Their lifestyle's a little, you know what I mean? I know a lot of kids, they have to work.
Of course.
From 17, they get kicked out, or they just want to leave their home because it's.
Of course.
They have to leave, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's situation's different.
Yeah.
But and you know, some people are dealt better cards than other people.
I agree.
But at the same time, it still depends on you, who you are. You could change, all of those situations can be changed. None of those actually affect the long term if you don't want them to.
Yeah.
But if you just let those situations consume you and you just take pity on yourself and stay inside of that zone, you're not going to leave that zone.
That's true. I always say,
not to cut you off, but everybody runs into tough things and has tough scenarios that to a point that in their life when they're going to have to make that decision anyway. You got to snap out of it to move on, and it comes in different forms. For some kids, they're dealt that hand the second they're born. You know what I mean? Some people, it comes later in life.
Yeah. I always say the moment where you feel like you're about to break, usually the moment after is where you have the breakthrough. You know?
Yeah, man.
Or the story the things that you're going through is going to be the story that you tell after you do your thing there, and to inspire someone else that's going through what you're maybe going through now.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think, you know, we talked about it. It's not like the map could be there, but sometimes you got to paint your own map, but you just got to know where you want to go.
Yeah.
You know, if you know where you want to go.
Look, sometimes the shortest distance is through those woods over there, and nobody put a road there yet. But if you know you could make that road and you know what you're doing, then you could carve that road, and then you carve that road for somebody in the future. Exactly. It's the same kind of concept. So it's not like follow everything that's already there. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just more like, don't just go west because you want to go west. Like, you know where you're going to go and know if you're going to stop on the way, you know? Yeah.
Speaking of carving a future, I know you work with a lot of upcoming MCs, and I know you were part of that. You went through that. You know, I know you help a lot of young MCs, you know, give them places to perform, give them places to, you know, do battles and stuff like that. And how does that feel to be able to, you know, kind of give back and help help people that are starting or trying to find their path.
That is the most rewarding part of it, of being successful, is that now being in a position to help out. That's my favorite part of it. Being in a position where you get the respect from the youth, that they listen to you when you talk and they'll take your advice because they know that you know what you're talking about because you went through it. So it's definitely a cool feeling. It's very rewarding. And it's like, pardon me, when we first started, it wasn't really the same. I think Diverse gave us our shot. I'm always grateful to him for that because it was like, at that time especially, it was not, there was nothing installed really in the community. So shout out to Diverse for helping us. And that was very inspiring to me because being 22 at the time, and he opened the doors and was like, yo, you could have the spot, rock the spot, do this. And it let me know like what the important things were to do for younger people, like create a platform for them. That's more important than anything. Give them a place that they can have those things, even though they don't notice it. Like I didn't notice until later, and I kept looking back at that first show and I'm like, oh, this is how it all started. So I kind of keep that with me. Like it's important. Like you could help the community in different ways. Like if, I know with the battle rap, for example, I know if this kid says somebody got a battle coming up and it's important to him, he's going to be home practicing rather than out in the streets doing something. So I'm trying to create that that environment where you occupy their time with something that they really like, you know. So that way you can change the community from inside out. You don't have to. I don't have to go and police, you know, and do things or like things like that. It may not always be the way to change it. Like there's different aspects. It's about everybody kind of working together, because if you start at the base and give them that thing to do, you know, they might stray away from a life that they may have not wanted to live, like going down a path they were getting sucked down.
Exactly.
And you're giving them a way to pull out of it and giving them something to see that's worth something to them to follow after, instead of just floating through the darkness, you know? So with me, that's the most important thing with the battle rap side, and making that as good as possible. Getting the best MCs and the best battlers, building up the brand more so that it's respectable, so that these kids want to be involved in it.
Exactly. That's amazing, man.
Word, man. It's fun. It's fun, and I'm like definitely blessed to be able to do it. So it's good. You can't just like go out there and just start a league, you know. It fell into my lap in a sense from doing the music and the shows, and then meeting Lex, and then being established in music, and then following Lex's career from the beginning and watching him get really big, and then figuring out how it all works and the politics, and it's like a whole new world, battle rap, in comparison to hip hop. You'd think they were the same, but they're not at all. It's two different worlds, you know? Like N1 in the NBA.
Yep.
It's different rules, everything.
It's amazing, man. I really appreciate you sharing your story. For anyone who's out there trying to find P. Marz, make sure to look him up. P. Marz with a Z. And also be sure to look out for his new music coming out. Check him out. It's your boy Dave Noodles. See you soon.